Here at Leyland Airport, heavy landings don't need to be reported as they do further south in St. Peters. But for an aero modeller, they can be expensive, with models sometimes costing hundreds of pounds. And in the Jersey Model Aero Club's second International Spring Flying Display, modellers from France and Guernsey joined local enthusiasts to put on a show of aircraft worth thousands of pounds and representing thousands of hours of devoted work. The Jersey Club has flown from Leyland since the early 60s. Only this year they built their own runway system. Now here's a piece of pure nostalgia, a de Havilland II from the First World War, and nearby perhaps the shape of things to come. A flying wing with passengers and cargo inside the wing space has been predicted as being one possibility for the future. Making and displaying your model is one of the hobby's pleasures, but ultimately flying's the thing. And here's one part of the display which tests a pilot's skill, the streamer chop. This aircraft will trail a streamer released by radio control when it's airborne. Other aircraft then attempt to cut the streamer. The risk of mid-air collision is high, so apart from skill, this is also a test of nerve. Now this sort of event looks as though aero modelers fly with mad abandon, but they do have a kind of air traffic control. Radio control models use 13 frequencies, so having 2 or more aircraft flying at the same time using the same frequency would have disastrous results. So a fairly simple system is used to avoid a mix-up in frequencies, the transmitter compound. Here, control units are color-coded according to frequency, and units with the same colors are not allowed out of the compound at the same time. A model with a lady pilot just has to belong to one of the French visitors. Now back to the de Havilland II, a model made from bits and pieces of wood and metal by René Le Houquet. For the controls and wing stays, over 300 feet of wire have been used. The model's based on the original design by Geoffrey de Havilland to combat the Fokker scourge in early 1916. The DH-2, says René, was the basis of the first British fighter squadron. The model is a replica of the aircraft flown by Britain's first ace, Major Lano Hawker. The model is powered by a 10cc engine running in reverse, pushing the aircraft along. Blustery conditions prevented some of the events taking place in the display, but the crowds were given another example of skill and nerve with limbo flying, beginning with flyers from Jersey and Guernsey. As the title suggests, the idea is to fly under a tape which, without a gusting wind, would normally get lower and lower. The club chairman, David Ford, tells me the last time this event was held in Guernsey, 12 aircraft crashed. Airline pilots and others who fly reckon that in many ways, flying models can be more difficult than flying a full-sized aircraft. That's basically for 2 reasons. When a model is flying away from a pilot, he's of course on the ground, the controls work as if he were in the pilot's seat. Right rudder on the control unit to turn right and so on. But when a model is flying towards the pilot, then he has to reverse his thinking. To turn the model to his right, it's left rudder this time. Also, he's working almost in 2 dimensions. He can judge height, but distance is more difficult. And he's flying without instruments for measuring such things as airspeed. Now Bob Delahaye, who was nominated the best all-round flyer of the day, shows his skill and the amount of control modelers can have over their aircraft. This is a superstar with a 10cc racing engine. The fuel used is a mixture of castor oil, methanol and nitromethane, which gives the model an average flying speed of 70 miles an hour and for some manoeuvres in the high 80s. The satisfaction of model aircraft are many, starting with the construction from bits of wood, metal and paper, right through to the successful bringing back to Earth the product of many hours of patient craftsmanship.